Hello and welcome to Femme-preneur. Yes, you can, ladies. This interview series is specifically geared towards celebrating female entrepreneurs. I want to celebrate who they are, what they went through, how they got to where they are, and honestly, the biggest celebration for this one is the simple fact that they chose to go for it for themselves. We all know that the hardest step in being an entrepreneur is taking that first step, followed closely by not giving up on yourself when the going gets tough, especially for a female entrepreneur. That's what this channel is for. I'm here to interview, to give light, to give all of the praise that you absolutely deserve to all of the ladies on this channel. Thank you for being here and enjoy the show. Okay, so first on my list is my friend Jocelyn, and we are gonna get straight to our questions. I cannot wait to learn more about you and your business. So question number one is, did you always know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? If not, when did you come to this realization?
Okay, so I grew up, my mom's an entrepreneur, my dad's an entrepreneur, and I grew up in that kind of reality that we're always changing, things are always moving.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I think that I always knew I wanted to lead.
Okay.
Like working for other people never worked out for me. The bosses, you know, you do your best and they don't recognize you as your best and things like that. So I basically, you know, I was a yoga instructor working for myself. And then I would, you know, contract to different studios. I was a commercial and residential house painter, and same thing, contracted to different people, worked for my mom, she had a painting business. And I just knew, that I'm better working for me because I want to depict my schedule, right? I want to live anywhere.
It's so important, and I think that that is the number one driving force, is the freedom of it. And I really resonate with you when you said that, you know, working for other people just didn't always work out for you. And I think for myself personally, for a long time I felt like I was being kind of selfish with that. Like, who am I to say that I can't, you know, work for somebody else or be told what to do by somebody else? But that's not really what it came down to. I enjoy being a leader just as you, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and your business.
Okay, so where we are right now, basically I teach people how to use essential oils, and I always say I teach them how to take their power back. So whether it be like physical wellness, emotional wellness, or even financial wellness, that's what I do. Is I get to show up in a better way, a brighter way each day, to live by example and to lead other people into a different state of life.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah.
And did you use oils? Like, how did they come into your life?
I've used them for years because my mom's always kind of been natural health minded. And so I remember way back, you know, when I was probably like 8 years old, we had a babysitter that had essential oils. She had their patchouli or something. I'm pretty sure she had super long dreadlocks too. But we had a babysitter that used oils. And since then, even though my mom didn't regularly use essential oils, I always kind of gravitated towards the more natural approach. And then I did my yoga training fresh out of high school. And from there, it kind of like sparked a different, you know, I was like, okay, vegetarianism, like all of this snowball effect that the yoga training usually has on people. Right. And then I started using essential oils, but I didn't know what they were used for. I didn't know that they could be used as healthcare.
You just know all these things. Like they smelt good and, you know, lightly maybe into like mood enhancements or whatever, but very surface.
Yeah, exactly. And also I went and I remember this so clearly, I purchased a lemongrass from a health food shop, and she was like, be careful with this bottle. She's like, be careful with this. I was like, why? She's like, because you can't put it on your skin and you can't eat it. And I was like, why not? It really got me questioning things.
Pardon?
I was like, it's dangerous? This is weird. Yeah. So that kind of like opened my eyes to like, holy cow. And then my son, Macawi, who's now 6, he like really opened up my like, okay, so now I need to get serious about really caring for him in a natural way.
Right.
Because I prefer to use natural over synthetics any day.
Absolutely. It kind of changes when you become a mom and it's no longer about you, and you have to go that extra mile for our kiddos, right? So then how were you introduced to this business? I'm curious.
So this is not normal maybe because of my scenario. I was a single mom. Like I was a brand new mom to Macawi, and like I said, when he was born, I had this like, holy crap, now I really need to focus on or figure out how I'm going to care for him, right? How am I going to care for his basic needs, as far as like his physical needs, his emotional needs, but also our financial needs.
Absolutely.
So I was like, how can I figure this out?
No big deal.
Yeah, and then I saw my friend with her pretty bottles on her website, and I was like, oh my, I was like, click. Holy crap, that's not only my like,
I know, so do I. I was like, you had an aha moment there, right?
Yeah, where I was like, that's my answer I've been looking for healthcare.
Yes.
For emotional care, but there's my business.
All in one.
Yeah. So I didn't even try the oils before I already knew I wanted a business.
Amazing. I think that that's amazing, and important to note too that whatever type of entrepreneurial thing you get into, those aha moments happen so differently for everybody. Maybe you're approached by somebody, maybe you just look and see and know and feel and know, but it's different for every person, right?
Yeah.
So to listen to your intuition, and also to be looking for those opportunities though. I think so often we're just so closed to everything that's like right there staring us in our faces.
Especially the influence of like, you know, friends and family that are like, okay, now your baby needs to go to childcare.
Yes.
You need to get a job. Like my grandma was still asking me, when are you gonna go to school?
Right.
I'm like, Grandma, I'm not gonna go to school. Like I just, you know.
I wanna raise my babies.
Yeah.
Right? And again, different for every person, as it should be, right? As it should be. So, okay, so number 3 is, tell me, what hardships have you faced, personal or professional, previous to or as you grew and are growing your business?
Okay, so like I mentioned, I was a single mom.
Yes,
so
there you go.
That's full on.
That's some serious stuff.
I also grew as a, you know, with an entrepreneurial mom and dad, but they separated when I was about 10.
Okay.
And so there was that in itself, that whole shebang. My dad wasn't able to see us.
Right.
And so having that kind of thing happen to me, and then when my son was born, I recognized that I was reliving my childhood. I was literally on the path to set myself up for the same stuff my mom had gone through.
Okay. So that generational trauma was coming in, right?
I was like, holy cow, I left his dad, like now all of this stuff is coming up that I'm like, I gotta seriously like make an effort to recognize that and redirect right now. So I think that was a big turning point in my life when I honestly recognized that and was like, I think that was a big driver for me to come to Costa Rica, to be honest, as well. Because I didn't have a lot of support when I started my business. I remember so clearly in my mind his dad saying, go get a real job. And I think I took that in the very beginning as fuel for my fire, because I was like, I'm gonna show you what a real job is.
Isn't that so interesting that we can take those things, so many of us, and you can take them one or the other way, right? You can let them push you down and beat you down and stop you, or you can add it to the fuel of your fire, like you said, and really help you push and drive.
It's so important, I think. And so from that place of like, you know, I took that and kind of ran with it. It was an interesting journey to start my business. And prior to having Macawi, I'd actually been traveling around the world for 6 years.
Which is amazing.
By myself. Yes. And so I went all over the world and worked in various countries and things like that. And so I had a lot of connections all over the world, but no real deep friends.
Right.
Okay, and coming out of high school too, I finished high school early and those sorts of things. So I moved in grade 11. So I lost a lot of friendships. Yeah. And so I think I had a lot of finding myself to do in that year after I started my business.
Right.
So I think sometimes we get it kind of backwards when we think like I start a business and then I just like take off.
Right.
But I actually had a lot of growth to do and a lot of finding myself.
How old were you when you had Macawi, when you started this business?
26.
You're 26. So again, very good to note that we don't know ourselves when we're jumping out of high school and we're jumping into these careers. Not to say that you can't find your dream career and the career that you will love for the rest of your life out of high school, because a lot of people do. I get that. But knowing that your 20s especially is huge for finding yourself and giving yourself that grace and maybe experimenting a little bit more than we think we're going to be experimenting to find where we're going to land, right?
And then coming into motherhood, right? And then you're like, totally different story, totally different friendships.
Who am I now?
Yeah.
Who am I now? Because it's
Yeah.
a new chapter, right? Different version of who we already are, but and again, like an up level.
Yeah, totally. And then I had Sequoia come into the picture, and I was still a single mom, and people are like, how'd that happen?
You're like, well,
I'm like, yeah.
We tried.
She was a gift.
This is
Exactly,
life.
we
So
tried.
this is life. This is messy life. And this was one of the number one reasons that I wanted to do this particular podcast, is to let everyone out there know, especially female entrepreneurs or people, women that are looking and thinking that they could, or thinking that maybe they can't and wondering why, is that it's messy. Life is messy. And just because life doesn't look the way that everybody told you life is supposed to look, doesn't mean that you can't go out and succeed for yourself and provide, you know, a beautiful life, whatever that is to you, for yourself, for your family, for just you, for your fur babies, for whatever it is you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Totally. So that was another interesting like pivot, is Sequoia. At that point when I conceived Sequoia, we had been going through some counseling, and it was like, it's still not working. I like can't make myself like you.
Yeah.
And I can't make myself want to be around you. And then I started to think, it's me, right?
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's actually you. So we tried, and then I conceived Sequoia in amongst that trying, and I knew it right away. I was like, I know I just conceived a baby, and I know it's a girl.
Right.
And so anyway, just right after that, I was like, we gotta go see my mom. Gotta get out of here.
We gotta clear this up, right?
Yeah.
We gotta figure
gotta get
this
on
out,
with
which
this.
you did,
Yeah.
which I think is amazing.
And the whole while, as like the beauty with having your own business is I built my business from my kitchen table.
Right.
While Macaulay was napping.
While Macaulay was napping,
Yeah.
while you were growing another human being in your belly, right?
And Sequoia was born, and I was I think she was laying on her pillow, you know,
Just
having
like you
naps.
are with your new beautiful baby, who's a beautiful gift as well. Like I love that you're being able to build this into the life that you have here, and now you're here in Costa Rica, and it's just such a beautiful thing to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
Question number 4: if you could go back to the beginning, what is one thing that you would tell yourself?
Stop waiting for other people to show up. Like that's a big one for me, because I tend to set expectations around certain people or scenarios, and I get, you know, what's that called?
Disappointed, let down.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like almost every time. So stop waiting for other people to show up and just do what you want to do.
Right.
And lead imperfectly, right? Start before you're ready, and just do it. Stop waiting for other people to show up.
It's kind of like, I talk about letting go of control a lot, right? Like you can control what yourself does, but you can't control what all those other people do. And the freedom that you find in that is can really, really help you move forward without so much disappointment and regret like that, right?
Yeah.
So stop waiting for people to show up. I like it. And lead by example, which you do, which is why you have such a strong team.
Yeah.
Question number 5. What do you think is the difference between you and every other woman out there thinking that they wish they could, or thinking that they can't?
I think this is an interesting one.
I know, I put this in here for a reason.
I think it's consistency and bravery, along with trust and kind of like faith in whatever you believe in. But like trusting, deep trust is like, I believe everything's always working out for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that that's huge. And I think that you really hit the nail on the head with that one. And I think this will be different for everybody, but the inner knowing and the trusting in our intuition, I think if we look around and we talk to other women worldwide, society, we've just been taught not to trust ourselves, not to trust our intuition.
Look what's going on right now.
Yeah, like we're just so detached from everything, from ourselves, I should say. And the important part, I think, of that particular point is that even if you are far detached right now, you can become more attached to yourself. You can re-find yourself. It might be messy, it might be painful, it might be super, super uncomfortable, but it's so possible and it's so necessary if you're going to, you know, again, start building and living that beautiful life that you deserve. That beautiful life that you want and that you deserve can be so simple. It can just be waking up happy every day. Like it could be getting a new dog. It could be being able to fill your fridge when you want to. It can be something so simple that's missing from your life right now. But having faith and confidence in yourself is going to be the number one stepping stone to starting to get yourself there, right?
Yeah, totally.
Amazing. So number 6 is, what is your definition of a beautiful life?
This is like super packed, right? I think like
the floor is yours.
That's awesome. I think the like main thing for me is the slowing down. I know I strive to have, you know, complete time freedom and financial freedom for myself, but also for my friends and for my family. So I think that's a big piece of my beautiful life, is like a big, beautiful life, you know, like having the freedom to travel when we like. Having a big one for me is also humanitarian projects.
Right.
So helping like people on such a scale where I used to not even be able to put food in my fridge, right? And I go from that to like, I can now help, just like now we're submitting a project to fix a park here locally, like,
which is amazing.
Which will escalate.
This community needs that. The park needs that. And now, like you said, like you went from maybe not being able to fill your own fridge, and now you could potentially go and help somebody else fill their own fridge.
Yeah, and beyond.
And beyond.
Right? People that work directly with me, it's like it's incredible what shifts when you shift your awareness from like, holy cow, I'm not just helping me now, I'm helping so many other women and family to rise. But beyond that, outside of our business as well, through giving back, Healing Hands, the different humanitarian projects that we can initiate and stop waiting for other people to show up.
Stop waiting and not, you know, I just from talking to you, and because you are my friend and we work together, you're constantly thinking outside of the box and coming up with different ideas, which is huge, because like you said, once your mindset flips a little bit, you don't feel like you're just waiting to be told what to do and what you can and cannot do. It's okay, what do I want to do? What needs to be done? What do I get to do now? What can I do next? And it becomes exciting, right? And when you have that passion like you do to just take it and run with it, amazing things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Do you have anything to add else? I didn't want to cut you off there.
No, I mean, always learning, always growing amongst the whole beautiful life. Like, it's just so much, I don't know, abundance and so much like upward momentum, right? And not just personally, that's something that's really like, I think that's skewed sometimes with people that maybe view successful people, where they think just, oh, they're this way or they're this way because they're successful, or because they have a lot of money, they're this way. I think that needs to be reevaluated maybe. I
think you're right. And specifically, I think now that you said that out loud, specifically to entrepreneurs, because it's all about like money, 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 when in reality, there's going to be, like any group in any walk of life, there are going to be those people, and then there's going to be the other side, right? And a lot of us just want to be able to make it. Our first goal is like, okay,
fill the fridge.
I want to be able to fill my fridge, right? I want to be able to make it and be able to like see my babies grow, or whatever it is for you. And then once you reach that point, you go, oh man, like you see everybody else who's suffering through that same thing, and you can't help but be like, how can I help other people do this too?
Yeah.
And
know that it's possible. Yeah, know that it's possible for you to be able to do that, and that you are worthy of that.
Amazing.
That's a big one.
And to know that you're worthy of it, right? Which is again just an unlearning and a relearning, but it's so possible and so important. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of my interview series for Femme-preneuers, letting you all know that it's absolutely possible, you're absolutely worthy, and until next time, my friend, thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Femme-preneur. It's so near and dear to my heart to have these women share their stories, be real, raw, and authentic, so that every single woman out there watching this knows that if you have a dream, if you feel a calling to go for it, you absolutely can. You have everything inside of you that you need to get started. Don't give up on yourself. You got this. Sending you so much love, so many hugs, and all of the powerful vibes in this world. You got this.